At that time, there was a dictator ruling Pakistan.
And this person was a military man, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a dictator. A dictator who proudly states in his own book, In the Line of Fire, that he obtained millions in bounty by selling his own people to his foreign masters.
She's a mother of 3.
Yes.
So where were the Fowzia and where were the bache, where were the kids?
They were in different parts, and what happened to Mariam was that after being abducted here, she was kept in confinement, and then there was a Christian couple who... And Ahmad was in a prison for children. I mean, that 10-day-old child, baby, what did he do? What did Aafia 6-month-old Suleiman or 3 years old Mariam or 6-year-old Ahmed do? Why were they tortured and mistreated? And they were American citizens.
What's her state?
Physically, I mean, it was just so visible, the torture and everything. I couldn't recognize it.
Today's guest is the sister of this ummah. Today's guest is the sibling of the daughter of this ummah. Now, for our younger viewers and listeners, many of you may not know who Dr. Aafia Siddiqui is. So today we have with us her sister, Fowzia Siddiqui. Now, just to tell you a little bit, because we're going to talk about it in the podcast, who our sister Dr. Aafia Siddiqui is. She's a neuroscientist, someone who's been languishing in prison, in incarceration for 22 years. 17 of those years have been in a US Supermax prison in Texas, and I'm truly honoured and humbled to have her sister on today to speak more about the situation of our sister Aafia, and that's none other than Sister Fowzia Siddiqui. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Jazakallah khair. The honour is truly mine. I know you've got a busy schedule. What are you doing in the UK? Tell us a bit about the schedule.
I'm actually a neurologist. And an epileptologist and a clinical neurophysiologist. So the ECCN was this year here in London. So, I was representing my hospital for the clinical neurophysiology and epilepsy sessions. So that brought me to London.
Did you and Sister Aafia study the same things?
No, I'm a medical doctor.
She's a neuroscientist.
Aafia is actually an educationist, and her PhD thesis was on how children learn through imitation. So it was like, how AI learns basically. At that time in the 90s, there was no AI. Aafia had created this program on, how by imitating you get smarter and smarter and you keep putting the impulses. And so that's part robotics and part neuro. So her thesis was funded by these departments, and so it's science and it's neuro. But other than that, she doesn't know anything about neurology.
Subhanallah. But she's commonly referred to as someone who's a neuroscientist.
Yes, well, she has a PhD.
And how many siblings are you all together?
We're 3. I have an older brother, and then it's me, and Aafia is the youngest.
And where is hometown? Is it where were you born and raised, the family?
Okay, we've been let's say more like nomads, because my dad traveled a lot for this job, and so we've been in various places. My primary education, my nursery and first 2 grades were here
in the UK.
In the UK, when my father was specializing at Manchester General. So we lived in Macclesfield.
Acha, okay.
Yeah, I'd love to go there if I can if I get any time. Sure. So bring back childhood memories. Those are some wonderful times, and then so basically for the past 22 years, Karachi has been home.
And is that as a result of what happened to Sister Aafia?
Yes.
So our younger viewers and listeners, they weren't alive during 9/11. They weren't alive for the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq. the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, who are like between 18 to 25, even 18 to 30, many of them may not know who Dr. Aafia Siddiqui is. Tell us a little bit about the situation and the circumstances in which she was abducted and incarcerated and handed over to the Americans.
So it's a very interesting thing. I mean, the circumstances are crazy, but what's important is to know who Aafia was. You know, what is it that made her? I mean, like people say, okay, she was a very stout Muslim, and you know that, and that's why there were so many. Why Aafia? You know, and that's the $1 million question. That was the $1 million question, and that is what, you know, it was always that Aafia. So the Aafia that I know, so if anyone in the young generation is looking, and everything's Googled these days. If I Google Aafia, I can't find my sister. There are people who have vilified her worse than a demon. And there are people who have raised her to greater than saints. I mean, where's my little sister, Aafia?
Tell us a little.
Trust me, in thousands, it's full of innuendo and that's where the confusion arises. When you throw out so much confusion that the actual thing is just, it's woven inside, and you lose the real person behind it.
Tell us a little bit about the real person.
For me, Aafia's my little sister. Right? So she's always my little sister. As I said, you know, I'm the neurologist. She knows nothing about that.
What's the age gap?
It's about 4.5 years.
Okay. Were you always close?
Yeah, I mean, as sisters are usually. And, well, Aafia was the younger. She was very bright, and, you know, she had a way and a particular grace about her that attracted. I was the middle child. It was big brother, bada bhai, and, you know, choti behan ko dekho.
Yeah.
You know, so there were times when she was really annoying, and she thought, and she knew that she's, you know, this attractive little girl, and she had curly hair when she was little, and she loved dolls. Dolls were her passion, her everything. And she loved dolls, and, you know, as she grew older, she focused on children and the elderly. She liked to, you know, volunteer with the old people's homes and all. And so she had this heart for giving. And as she you know, grew older, she would, whenever she would see a protest anywhere, she would just ask, have you been wronged, and what have you been wronged for? And she would just stand there. Even if it was for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, she would stand there. And I thought that was so silly. These protests don't do anything, you know. That was my view, and I would tell her that. And she said, oh, you know, it's just that these protests matter because the number of head count. And it's the more people there are, the more it'll have an effect. And it doesn't even matter if nobody's listening here. I just want to see from up there that my head's also noted over there.
Alhamdulillah.
And this is when she was like, you know, 14, 15.
14, 15.
Yeah, you know, she would see that, and she would want to, you know, I want to stand up for this. I want to stand up for that. I want to help this. And then when we came to Pakistan, and in Pakistan, the poverty and all, it just got to her. And she to a point that it would really make her depressed. And then my mom was the guiding light there, and my dad, and said that, you know, if you really want to make a difference, just going there and helping someone, or, you know, okay, fine, you can empty out mom's purse and that, but is to do something worthwhile. And then so she was like, I'm going to do this, okay, I'll do this, and, you know, make so much money so I can, you know, give charity and that. And in the end, she decided, so first she went to the University of Houston, she was doing biology, and then for a year, and then she got accepted into MIT. And it's there that she realized that the problem, and this is something that she realized at a very young age, and because she was only 17, 18 when she went there. And going to America and seeing the stock difference in the education and the thought process. And she said, it just suddenly, I know exactly what I want to do with my life. And she said that, in 30 years, Islam had spread from the deserts of Arabia, one man who was an orphan in a way, to 3 continents. Just 3 decades, 3 continents. In a world that was completely engulfed in darkness, suddenly there's a whole new way of life. And why is it that so many centuries later, we are the third world? She said it's education. It's not literacy, it's education.
What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, so for her, it was the way of life. Being informed. That was her dream of creating, educating people so they can think, not just memorizing. And so her thing was that, look at the Sahaba. How were they so steadfast and that? Because, the Quran was revealed, and as it was revealed, they memorized it. But, it was with the actions. So just memorizing the Arabic and not knowing what it means or what it implies, it's a way of life. It's not just a book to be memorized and recited and not know what it's saying. It's a code of life. It's a free encyclopedia to life. So she said that. So that's when she changed into education. She was pretty inspired by Noam Chomsky, and Noam Chomsky had said, had quoted on Aafia's graduation that she's an institution in herself.
MashaAllah.
And she'll bring a change wherever she read out a dialogue between a believer and an atheist.
She did that?
Small thing, yeah.
Wow.
And, I would say Noam Chomsky, though he was an atheist, he acknowledged her effort. So, that's what she did what she believed. And then she went to Brandeis and she was like, I need to change. I need to see how I can make the education system efficient and how I can show people to learn directive learning and that. And that's what her PhD was. And then when she came to Pakistan, she was taking this to Islamabad when she was abducted on the way. And she was abducted, and then at that time, there was a dictator ruling Pakistan. A dictator who proudly states in his own book, In the Line of Fire, that he obtained millions in bounty by selling his own people to his foreign masters. And that is the time that the dignity today, till then, Pakistan had endured a lot of hardships and a lot of trials and tribulations, but always came up standing with dignity and honor. And it is from that time onwards. So the youngsters who are seeing Pakistan in this deplorable state, that is where it started, when their own people were being sold by someone who had sworn to protect.
And this person was a military man, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a dictator. He was a dictator.
The younger viewers and listeners, the Gen Z coming up, they'll be wondering, because they tend to be a bit more inquisitive than perhaps the older generation. They'll say, okay, well, there's no smoke without fire. There must have been something somewhere for that abduction. Was there anything of what's been accused?
Well, if you had asked that question like 10 years ago, I would have said, that's $1 million question. Why Aafia? Why Aafia?
So why?
She's one of the kindest, gentlest persons. And why her? But it turns out, our lawyer, Clive Smith, has done a lot of investigation. Yes. And so he found out, and now he has these people on record from the CIA that they actually, the intelligence agencies don't talk to each other, and it's like an alphabet soup that's just mixed up, or that just were so biased and so clouded by the hate and of post 9/11 that it clouded their judgment, and all they wanted to do was like fill up a head count and, just look at it. That they actually believed that Aafia was a nuclear scientist because she went to MIT, and they believed her PhD was at MIT, which is an institute of technology.
The most prestigious, one of the most prestigious in the world.
Yes, famous for, nuclear technology and technology, basically. But Aafia did her PhD from Brandeis in education and learning. So that was a faulty intelligence, something that they were misinformed, and that just brought her on the radar. And then, she was active for Bosnia and all of that. So, once you have one wrong dot and then they just connect, and it's just guilt by association, and you raised money for a charity, and, that charity later on gets blocked or something. So
it's all of that.
So it's most likely, and all that, because the FBI agent actually admitted to that now, 20 years later. It's coming clean that, yes, we made this mistake.
So why is she still in prison then?
Well, ask the lawyers that, because apparently American system of justice is so great that it's so easy to put people in, but to get them out is a whole new process.
Before we get to how she was extradited and where she currently remains, the 5 years before the extradition, she was in secret prisons?
Yes.
And she had no access to family?
She was missing, like thousands of missing persons at that time. With children, I mean, there was a 19-year-old girl who they picked up, and because they were looking for her husband, and she had just delivered 10-day-old baby, and they took both of them, and no one knows what happened to them, where they are. So this was a very horrible thing. Thousands of people were going missing, women, children,
Can you tell us a little bit about the situation with our sister Aafia and her children? How did those years turn out? Well, what was happening? Because she's a mother of 3.
Yes.
So where were the Fowzia and where were the bache, where were the kids?
They were in different parts. Now Clive has actually, found out exactly the places where they were. And what happened to Mariam was that she was, after being abducted here, she was kept in confinement, and then there was a Christian couple who took her and, converted her to a Christian, raised her as that. But, Allah protects those. She was protected from other assaults and things in that way.
And Muhammad?
And Ahmad was in a prison for children, and he had it worse. And we have the place, we have everything, and so, children, okay? So when people say there's got to be smoke for the fire and that, the 98.6% of people in Guantanamo that are now out in that.
Yes, they're free.
What did they do? Where is the smoke?
There was no smoke.
That 10-day-old child, baby, what did he do? What did Aafia 6-month-old Suleiman, or 3 years old Mariam, or 6-year-old Ahmed do? Why were they, tortured and mistreated? And they were American citizens. So, the Generation Z or that, even though they think that and they want to Google everything, trust me, in neurology especially, Google is only as smart as the information that it gets. And there's more misinformation in there than there is that. And it is the number one killer.
I say that to you, Sister Fowzia, because we saw the invasion of Afghanistan. We saw the invasion of Iraq. We saw the decimation of the Muslim lands during the World War
We
II.
saw the weapons of mass destruction.
Now,
Where were
they?
they?
Where were they? No, they said Al-Qaeda was there, but instead we got ISIS that was born out of Iraq. So we saw that, we witnessed that. We can perfectly place Sister Aafia's musibat in that particular context. The younger gen that are coming up,
yeah,
that's
but now they see Gaza. They see such a bigger picture.
Yeah,
Aafia was the beginning of Gaza, you could say. But they see Gaza, they see Kashmir, see Yemen. Just look around you. Look at the atrocities. What did those little children in Gaza do to be bombed and to be dismembered and to be treated the way they're being treated? Did they deserve that? Weren't they one night just telling their parents, we want something, we want to take this to school, we want this, and the next day they wake up to dead bodies
or they don't wake up.
Or they don't wake up at all.
Tell us a little bit about the dream that Sister Aafia had, where Prophet ﷺ appeared in her dream.
Okay, there are quite a few.
There was one where, if I recall, it was about the Ummah being tested and her being our test.
That's one that she told my mom over the phone. She was upset a little, and she said she wanted to talk to her mom, and she told my mom that she saw Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in her dream, and she said that I asked him that when is this test going to end? And he Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he just looked at Aafia, smiled and said, my daughter, it's not your test. And she said that I got so bewildered, and I said, if it's not my test, why am I still locked up here? And she said that there was silence, and I looked up and I saw tears going down, trickling down his and his face, and he said, it's the Ummah.
It's their test.
It's my Ummah. And she was and then she started crying to my mom and said, I wish I hadn't asked that question. I made our Prophet, I made him cry, and now what's going to happen to me? And she was just very, very sad, and she'd waken up. And after that, the phone calls that we would receive sporadically, they completely stopped. So that was the last, until when I met with her, but still haven't been able to get back the phone connections. And there's now, after COVID and during COVID, there was video calls. We didn't get any of that.
When was the last time you physically saw her?
About a year and a half ago.
What's her state?
Physically, I couldn't recognize her. The picture that you see of Aafia tortured and right?
Yeah.
That is, if she were like that, I would say, okay, she's like that and she's horrible. But compared to what the Aafia that I saw, that picture was like, oh, this is someone very good. That's how horrible she was.
1 year ago.
More than a year.
And what was the conversation? What did you speak about?
So it's through a glass and through the phone. So other than the first time, the next time I went, the phone wasn't working. So either you yell through the soundproof glass, which was just ridiculous, and then the other time, the visiting room door was locked, so they couldn't find the key, which was a stupid. And the next time they said that we could do a video call through a tablet. I can sit in the parking lot and they can connect me. And I said, that's not fair. If I need to do a video call, and it's allowed, every prisoner is allowed video calls, and as long as we pay for them, we're willing to pay for them. And it's like about $10 a minute or something. But But if it's going to be through the tab and a video call, why can't I do it sitting in Pakistan in my home?
Why did you bring me over
Why
there?
do I have to come all the way here to do that? And even though my lawyer said that you've come all the way, you should see her, and that I said this is a matter of principle for me.
So she's currently in a Supermax prison in Austin, Texas, right?
No, in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, yeah. And is she eating? Is she getting meals? Does she have access to the Quran?
So when I went, she had not had tea or coffee for ages. She could not recall when the last time she had. Because the money we were sending her never got to her. They embezzled it. I mean, this is the American justice system. Wake up, people, but I guess we're so blinded by the glamour that we don't see the reality of it until it's one of us.
So you'd send money that wouldn't reach her?
Yeah, $300 a month.
Did she receive any of it?
She had no access to it, and we didn't have any way of finding out. We didn't have. So it's when Clive came in, and he found out, and that. So when I went and he got me to visit, that's after 20 years. And so I immediately transferred, because you can only transfer in a month about $300. That's the maximum you can. So I immediately transferred that and, Clive talked to the superintendent and that. So the next day, so we had like 3 days. So the next day, Aafia was like, despite the situation that she was in, she had not just a torn up cloth, she had an actual scarf.
MashaAllah.
So, and she said, I don't remember since when, but I got the commissary, so I got the money, and I bought, so I got tea.
Oh, bless.
And coffee, because all they would get is hot water. And they have to buy the tea or coffee.
Which she didn't have money for.
So that's all she would have with the bread. So, and all the money, where is it gone? We don't know where it's gone and what, but, whatever bits she would get. So, and then I said, well, what else did you do? So she said she got like a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper. And I said, okay, you like Dr. Pepper? She says, no, I don't, but the other people in the admin unit do. And they don't have money. And so now I was like, my sister gave me money, so I want to share with you. So I gave that to them.
SubhanAllah.
And
does she get to see, is it 23 hours solitary confinement? Yes. Does she get 1 hour where she can see other inmates?
I don't know. The last time that she said, I didn't actually go into, well, what I didn't want was her complaining to me. She can complain to her lawyers and that, because then I thought, well, not that it made a difference, but I thought then they would like make that an excuse and,
Sure.
things difficult for her, but I could see. I mean, it was just so visible, the torture and everything. The only thing that gave her solace was the Quran and zikr.
Brothers and sisters and friends, I see that you're enjoying the content. How come you've not clicked subscribe to the 5 Pillars YouTube channel? And if you're watching via Rumble, how come you've not subscribed on our Rumble channel? If you like the content, you like the guests, you like what we're talking about, it's absolutely inexcusable and cheeky for you not to click subscribe. Thank you and Jazakallah khair.
So look, we know that there is an incident which the Americans authorities describe where she allegedly, outrageously, audaciously took the rifle or the firearm of an officer.
Yes, an M4.
An M4, yeah. Which then brings to question, what type of soldiers or officers were they? And we know that she has been beaten, she has been abused, she has faced horrific torture. When was the last time she experienced physical torture? Are you aware?
I think it's every day. The worst part of it is the strip searching. So to go out, even I think to come and visit, they strip search her. And that for her is the most traumatizing thing. Because for a Muslim, modest woman, and I think for everyone, because I mean for any woman, because there was like a couple of women in the jail that I talked to, and they said, if anyone asked us what it is, we say it's rape. Because they do cavity searches. So you can imagine what it is like. And that's the most horrifying thing that's the most bothersome. And then, I mean, put everything aside, okay? A mother. You have a mother, right? If you're late going home or that, who's the one who's most worried?
Mom. Always worried.
Always worried,
Always
right?
worried.
And if someone, God forbid, takes a mother's child away, from both parents and that, who's the one who's going to go stark raving mad?
The mother.
Who's going to be screaming, banging her head?
Mother.
It'll be the mother, right? For Aafia, who loved dolls, and as she grew older, her children were dolls. I mean, if my brother would just shake a doll of hers, as all big brothers do to little sisters, they have to
Wind them
part
up.
Part of their lifetime job is to
wind sisters up.
Yeah. And I don't know what kick they get, but it's kind of a universal thing in all cultures, I think.
It's the reaction. It's the reaction.
So anyways, it's, like every normal family. But he didn't have to really wind her up much. All he had to do is take a doll and turn it upside down or just shake it. Oh my God, it's going to get a shaken baby syndrome. And my father was a surgeon and he was like, oh, look, all the blood's gone into her brain. Please check her. It's a doll, for crying out loud. But so imagine taking her children away at the thought of them being tortured or being hungry or that. What would that do? I mean, I would have died. And I think metaphorically, Aafia died the day her children were taken away from her. I mean, I know my mom, something inside her went. When Aafia was taken away, you're living, but your heart is not there. It's and someone like Aafia, who was just so intense and deeply emotionally passionate about everything she did, and she devoted her life in how children will learn and that. So for her children to be taken away, I think there is no worse form of human coercion than this. Separating a mother. I mean, I'll tell you, when we got Ahmed back from Afghanistan, and I asked him, did they do horrible things to you? And this little kid, who was 11 years old, tells me that, Auntie, they could have done anything to me. This little kid says I wouldn't have minded if they cut me into pieces, but had left me with my mom. That was a child, missing his mom. And imagine what the mother was going through. And once you have that and you use that as coercion, I mean, we see someone else's child and it hurts, we say, don't hurt the child,
Imagine your own.
We'll try, imagine your own. Won't you confess to everything? I'm sure I would confess that, hey, Cain didn't kill Abel. I did.
Well, we know that this happens. We know in despotic regimes, they kidnap family members to get false confessions out.
So,
where is Suleiman?
We don't know.
He's the youngest of the three, right?
Yes, he was 6 months old when they abducted him.
Why? Pakistanis don't know where they are, but Pakistani authorities, the American, no one.
So, these are the realities.
I've known the story for so many years, and just every time hearing it, it's as if you're hearing it for the first time. So we're here now. What do we do, Sister Fowzia? What does a Muslim who has either been involved with the movement or is being exposed to the movement for the first time, what is expected from them?
Well, we need your support. I mean, alone I can just do so much. I can convey Aafia's story. I can tell you the facts as I know them. But Aafia needs, everyone's support. And it's a test of the Ummah. And until we unite as an Ummah and we stand up for her, this will escalate. It's not going to go down. First it was Aafia, then it was Kashmir, now it's Gaza. And it'll continue to accelerate. We need to, stand up.
But what does that mean
in
practical terms?
Right,
What
in this
can
day of
we do?
social media, right? In this day of social media, we have the Aafia movement, AAFIA, Aafia movement.
We'll include all the socials on the links.
That is under my my own patronage, and anyone associated with the Aafia movement official. So it's the Aafia movement. Insta is the same name.
Yep.
For all the social media accounts, Insta, YouTube, Twitter, X, and FaceTime or whatever, all these.
So share the content, raise the awareness. What else?
Yes.
What else?
And
what else
follow. Right? Because if we go submit something and we say we have like millions of people who are supporting this and doing this, for politicians, they like crowds, right?
Yeah.
So there are so many people, but if they look at our socials, because, every time we get to a point, it goes down again.
That's the unfortunate thing with social media.
But at least we can keep redoing it. And so that's the much needed thing. And obviously, for Clive to continue his work, he does need, he's pro bono. He's not charging for the thousands of hours that he's put in this case. But still, there are expenses, travel, investigation, and all of that. So that would be a lot of help. So, I don't have to keep working myself out.
Brothers and sisters, so just remember that the Aafia movement.
Yes.
Follow it on Instagram, on YouTube, on X. I will also include, is there a donation link towards Clive's work?
Yes, there is.
We'll include all of this in the description and we'll pin the comment.
Thank you.
Bringing the conversation to a close, there's something I'm burning to ask, and that is, what's your engagement been like with successive ruling parties of Pakistan?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Should we start with Imran Khan?
You want to start with Imran Khan? You want to start with all the... Okay. So
Imran... I know there was some optimism. There was some optimism in the air.
Yes. Look, Imran Khan was one of those people who actually initially raised Aafia's case. He knew the case. And he said that, I know how to talk to these people and, just elect me. Aafia's been an election point for everyone. Every politician in Pakistan has used Aafia to get something or the other. So it seems because he had 4 years to do something. And he was in pretty good terms with Trump, and he could have gotten a compassionate release from that, but he had other things on his mind, and he didn't. Now, whatever it was on his mind and that, he's in a place very similar to Aafia. He's also had to go through, very unjust trials.
Did you have direct correspondence?
Yes, I did. I met with every prime minister, and every prime minister had come, till my mom was alive, had come to meet my mom and, get her blessings before elections, after elections.
Nawaz Sharif?
And Nawaz Sharif. You can see pictures of him.
Okay.
Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan.
Zardari?
What's her name? Sharmila Faruqi and Rahman Malik.
Of course.
From Zardari's thing. He was the interior minister, and he was the one who was he's the one who helped bring Aafia's children back.
Okay.
So, credit goes where it's due, but he was instrumental.
Really?
Yes, instrumental. And
Allah accept his efforts. I mean,
yes, I mean, it is something that we will always be grateful for.
Shahbaz Sharif of late.
Shahbaz Sharif is the one who, I mean, Imran Khan could have gotten me to visit Aafia. But, I wasn't getting the permission, and I had filed this petition in court to, at least let me see Aafia. Let's get to, we don't know how she is in that. This was in 2015, January of 2015. And I got to see Aafia 2 years ago. And that was Shahbaz Sharif.
8 years it took. So 2015, you saw him 2 years. Wow.
So, Imran Khan, Nawaz Sharif tried, but he wasn't on good terms with them. So, but Imran Khan was, but he put it in the back burner, whatever, but he didn't. And then when Shahbaz Sharif came, he, because the court kept passing the order that, you need to do this. This is something that's doable. Talk to the authorities, get permission. Family visits are allowed. This wasn't even something that I'm asking you to go tell them to release her or that. This
visitation.
Just visitation. A right. Get me my right. But, I mean, so, it's like you don't know who comes out to help you and,
Why do I get the feeling, and I could be wrong, and maybe I don't understand the nuances and the various variables that state makers have, but I've always believed that Pakistan has always had enough leverage with America.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It played a key role.
Oh, yes. It's like, it's the neck of the funnel.
Exactly. And it's played a mediating role between America and China many times in the past. It's played much bigger roles in seeking the release of one of their daughters. So I just believe that they have leverage to if the willpower may not be there.
Yes, I agree with you. It's just the willpower, or it's that they're afraid. It's the willpower, I guess, and it's like a Pandora box, because who initially abducted her in the first place?
There were some rumors. I don't know how true the rumors are. When I visited Afghanistan twice, there were some rumors. I don't know if they've reached your ears, that the Taliban administration were considering mentioning our sister Aafia for a prisoner swap, because they still have American prisoners of war. Is there any validity to these claims?
I don't know. I mean, if there was, Aafia would be here and the prisoners would be there, I would presume.
Of course.
I would hope, but
there's a legal
I've heard,
technical.
as you said, I've heard rumors, and there's, according to our lawyers, they're just rumors.
Okay.
And they think that, number one, America would not let her go to Afghanistan in the first place. And number two...
has she ever visited Afghanistan?
Aafia's not an Afghani national, so...
Has she ever visited Afghanistan?
No, I don't think so. If you call Bagram or the secret prisons a visit to Afghanistan...
No, of course not.
So, no, not to my knowledge, no.
Any final words? Any final words to our viewers and listeners? Please look there and tell our viewers and listeners.
To everyone who's listening, I'm just going to say one thing. Please snap out of your safety zone. Do not be afraid. I'm sitting here in front of you. I have had so many. The first time I was coming out to do the press conference, we had so many threats. My mom was told that you will lose your daughter if you don't put her on a leash. If she goes to this press conference, I was told my children will be dead. And time again, dead bodies were thrown in front of our home, and bullets were sent to us in envelopes. But I'm still here. And my children, alhamdulillah, are still there. Aafia's children, we've had break-ins. The kids have been almost tried, attempts of abducting, kidnapping, and all of that. But when Allah wills and keeps us safe, if it's not destined to be, it won't. Just remember, if we are destined to die, we will die regardless. So let's die doing something right, standing up for someone. Don't be afraid. And just look at this, that the people and the regime that was threatening us, like all cowards do behind the shadows, look at where they are. The dictator who was selling his own people, where is he and how he suffered? So we have to just stand. I mean, here I was alone, and now there's a whole caravan. There are thousands and millions of people. And, I need your support. Don't be afraid. And let's have faith and let's be steadfast. And that is, I'm really grateful for all the help that everyone did during the petition signing. So, Jazakallah khair for that.
If I may say a few words to the camera, my dear brothers, sisters and friends, especially the younger constituency who may not be familiar with our sister Aafia Siddiqui's case, when we grew up during the 9/11 era, the invasion of Afghanistan, the invasion of Iraq, many of you may have heard the names of Muazzam Beg, Babar Ahmed, Tala Ahsan. We grew up in an era where Muslims were being accused of horrific crimes, crimes which they were never guilty of. The very fact that the vast majority of the Guantanamo Bay detainees are actually free, and I think only a handful remain, is a testimony to the fact that Muslims were being abducted, kidnapped, tortured, and jailed on trumped-up charges based on nothing. In most cases, when you scratch beneath the surface, these were all innuendos, guilt by association, and people were tortured and imprisoned for years. Now that you're seeing Gaza unfold before your eyes, I urge you all, inshallah ta'ala, look at what Sister Fawzia's asked. She's not asked for anything significant. She's asked you for a follow. She's asked you for a subscribe. She's asked you to give some money towards Clive's legal work, which he's doing pro bono. I feel ashamed sat here in front of Sister Fawzia in that's all she's asked for. So my dear brothers and sisters, please, the links will be there in the comments. It'll be pinned. It'll be in the description. Please, please, please make sure you follow the Aafia movement channel and pages across all the platforms and give whatever you can towards the legal work of Clive.
There are a lot of people who are using Aafia's name for their own personal gains. So that's why I was insisting on the Aafia movement, because some call it Team Aafia or something like that. And, just using her name.
Aafia movement with a double A. So please follow, subscribe, share the content and give whatever you can towards her lawyer's work that he's doing for free, but it has costs. That's the very least we can do. Because if you recall the dream that our sister Aafia had, where she asked the Prophet ﷺ, why am I here? What am I doing here? When's this test going to finish? And with tears rolling down his eyes, he said that her incarceration is actually a test for the ummah. That should give many of us sleepless nights. That should, at least amongst the men within this ummah, that should give us much to think about. Because our sister, whether it's our sister Aafia, or the sisters that are in the dungeons of the Israelis, or whether it was our sisters who were freed from Sidnaya prison in Syria, wherever it may be, we know that there was a time within our history where wars were waged for the dishonoring of one woman. We literally know in our history that entire wars have been waged for the dishonoring of one believing woman. How we find ourselves in the situation today, that's obviously up for a huge debate and discussion. But what Sister Fawzia's asked for is very, very, very minimal. So please, if you've made it to the end of the podcast, do remember to subscribe and follow all their channels, all their pages. It'll be in the comments and it'll be in the description. Sister Fawzia, it was an absolute pleasure and honor having you on. Our du'as are always with you. I feel inadequate. I feel insufficient. That is all I have to offer you. Besides the du'as, besides helping the movement and raising awareness, by Allah, I wish we could break those dungeons and free her ourselves.
Inshallah, when the time will come, it will happen.
But that is not on us. It's the role of the governments. It's the role of those who have the leverage. It's the role of those who can...
On us, it's the struggle continues. We do not give up. And we get the reward for our action. What the results are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not doing it for the results. We're doing it for ourselves.
Is Aafia angry with the Ummah?
You know, there's something that was going around like a letter from that, but that's not from Aafia.
That wasn't a genuine letter?
No, that's
Okay.
not. I mean, poor thing has no contact outside, so how could she? No. Yeah, well, she does. She did, even when she was sitting with me and with Senator Mushtaq, recite the last part of ayat number 73 of Surah Nisa, in which it is, "O Lord, please send us someone
Who will free us?
who will free us from these oppressors." And that, so she, you know, with tears in her eyes, she kept reciting that. And she said, I don't know when someone's going to come.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to see that day much sooner than later. Ameen ya Rabb.
Because the thing is, you know, Allah Ta'ala says, you know, if we look at that ayat and how strong it is, it's like, you know, that what has happened to you guys? I mean, it's like, have you lost your iman? Are you even part of the ummah? So it's kind of a test of everything. So Aafia is the litmus test. And I mean, for the Pakistani government, you can see Aafia is a pure litmus test. It shows, you know, who is for and who is not for. And I think it's everyone's litmus test. And, you know, I just hope and pray that we can do something to help these people, because I mean, someone who's gone through so much. I mean, if I was just sitting waiting in that room, and it just, you know, I went crazy locked up in that little room, and like for about an hour, less than an hour. Imagine being locked up for so long with just concrete walls and just a small hole where food is passed through, no windows, just a toilet and a bunk.
Brothers and sisters, why don't you try it? Why don't you put your phone away, switch the Wi-Fi off, and go into your bedroom and stay there for 6 hours? And that's with a comfortable bed, a window. Try it and see what it does to your head. Now imagine what our sister Aafia has been through for 22 years, with her children taken away from her, and not even going into the horrific levels of abuse and torture that she's experienced. Just put yourself in her shoes for 3 to 6 hours and see whether you can.
And yet she still had hope.
Allahu Akbar.
She had hope in the Ummah. So, I mean, even then she wasn't complaining. Every sentence was with Alhamdulillah. And she was praising different names of Allah and, you know, reciting the Quran. And she was comforting me. I mean, I was like so devastated just looking at her. I couldn't even recognize her. I was like, this has happened to her. And I was thinking of what my friends would say, you know, that Fowzia, look at this. She's in an American jail. They keep them very nicely. Prisoners have rights.
They have 3 meals a day, and they have exercise time, and they have visitations. Yeah.
And they have access to, you know, and when I saw her, and that, I was literally taken aback. I was so shocked. I just was trying to hold back my tears, and I couldn't even hold her. And I don't think I begged anyone this much that, can I just hold her hand? But and you know, and she was comforting me. She was saying Innamal
usri yusra.
Yeah. And that, you know, with the hardship is ease, and she was comforting me, and she was reciting the Quran, and, you know, she was saying, Hasbi Allah la ilaha illahu alayhi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul arshil azim, and here I was, I was like, I think she's more free than I am, really. If you look at the mental, the spiritual level.
Allah mustaan.
What has happened to us?
May Allah hasten our sister's release and hasten the release of all of those who have been unjustly imprisoned, incarcerated. Ameen ya Rabb.
Ameen.
Sister Fowzia, I am saddened by the circumstances, but I'm honored to have been in your presence and in your company. Jazakallah khair for your time. Brothers, sisters and friends, very rarely at the end of episodes do I firmly urge you all to follow the social media platforms or channels of the guest. This is a personal and direct appeal and request from your brother Dilly, who you tune in every week to watch this show, is to go onto the Aafia movement social media channels and pages, which will be in the description and pinned in the comments. And please give them a follow, give them a subscribe. There'll also be a donation link for the work that her lawyer has been carrying out. By Allah, if you consider the obligations we have, especially as Muslim men of this ummah, especially those of us who are living in the developing world, that all our sister Fowzia has asked us to do is just to follow them on social media, to subscribe to their channels, to share their content, and to make a donation to Clive's work, which he's doing pro bono anyway. Wallahi, this is so little that she's asking. And that's, I mean, she gave a reason for it. It's so that when they go and posit their case to policymakers and the authorities, that social media following reflects how big the movement is. And we know that we're living in an era of social media. We know we're living in an era where numbers speak. So we need to ensure that on Instagram, on YouTube, on X, where else? Facebook, anywhere else? Those are the main. TikTok. All of, we've got our brother Farouk, he's off the camera, he's managing all the platforms and the campaigns. Please make sure you follow and subscribe. Remember, you can find this episode on all 4 seasons on all the major audio platforms. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.